What's the dumbest thing someone has told you? Roommate argued with me for an hour that opinions and facts are usually the same thing. I honestly wish I was joking, but I'm getting annoyed just thinking about this again. A girl from Florida once told me, because Australia is upside down, left is right and right is left. I am Australian and told her she was right, and not many people know that. The TA for one of my classes in college said his parents didn't let him watch Veggie Tales as a kid because vegetables aren't supposed to have souls. I think the law that requires you to wear a seatbelt is so stupid. My body, my choice, me. Well, what about your 5-year-old son? You wouldn't want to hurt him if he was riding with you, right? Shrugs. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Me, really? That's how you feel about that? I mean, why even look before crossing the street, if, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go? Actually, I usually don't look when I cross the street. Edit. She is under 30, but already has terrible knees. Why? Get ready, she was hit by a car in her teens while she was crossing the street. Watching a sunset on the ocean one day when a late teens person asked me why the ocean doesn't put the sun's fire out. A girl in my geology class once said that the oceans were so polluted because the dirty animals wash themselves in it. That was in 8th grade. Someone once told me they saved the internet on a floppy disk. They actually saved their dial-up connection shortcut, but they truly were convinced that it contained the whole internet. That birds are mammals because they have meat. That their teacher told them they had a high IP. I know he meant IQ, but seriously. You should ping him, just to be sure. That John Lennon was in fact the first president to be assassinated. That direction can't be north because it's diagonal and north has to be in a straight line. What? My stepsister told me we should see the PG-13 movie because PG meant pretty good. I wish I were joking. Edit. She wasn't a little kid when she said this. She was 19. Movie was Breaking Dawn PT2. Take that however you want. Lol. That the post office doesn't ship mail to the Netherlands because you can't send physical mail to hell. Just wanted to mail a postcard to my family in Eindhoven. Wait, so you are trying to tell me that our sun is a star? What are all those other things? I proceed to show her an observable universe's size comparison video. Humans can't look that far, I can't even see the moon sometimes. This is my friend, F18. That windshield wipers wear out faster in the middle, because that's the part you look through the most often, as if your sight is an energy beam that degrades the rubber or something. I am so slim because I follow a diet of hydrocarbons that my doctor recommended me. My friend said this while we were jogging in the morning. A teacher told me, and the rest of my class, the Earth was flat something like 25 years ago when I was in high school. I had never heard of a flat earther at that time, and I remember thinking how much of an idiot the person was and questioning with my classmates how that person was supposed to teach us anything. That South Pole is hot because it's south. A girl asked that in my geography class. I was trying to not laugh when I looked at my friend and laughed really hard. I felt bad for her, but I just couldn't help it, the situation was just so funny. Math isn't real. Like if I said 2 + 2 = 5 it would be true. This was from a nursing student. I was walking in a very popular, touristy park in the city I live in. There is a totem pole at the edge of the park that is very nice. While walking past I was asked by someone, where can I buy seeds to grow one of these trees? Person points to the totem pole. I said, it's a totem pole. They're carved from a tree. You can't grow them yourself. The person was flabbergasted. Edit. The park in question was Beacon Hill Park in Victoria, BC. Every May, thousands of people come to the city during cruise ship season and ask locals ridiculous questions for no apparent reason. The person asking was a middle-aged woman. At the time I was in my early 20s and, for reference, I'm also a woman. It was definitely not a joke. She was visibly shaken by the news. My ex-wife at the time came home late, said she had a flat tire and that her and her girlfriend were able to put the spare on. I taught her that, then she said there was something she didn't understand. She said she saw a screw in the tire and wanted to know that if the screw was in the top of the tire, why was the bottom flat? I hope it isn't too late, but this feels like my chance to tell my best story. Sorry I'm on mobile. I went on a date about 6 months ago with a girl who was really into astrology. I had asked if she wanted to eat at a certain restaurant and she said no because of something in her horoscope. I explained to her that some guy that works for the local newspaper wrote that, or at best some guy writes for a ton of newspapers. She got really mad and we had my favorite conversation to think about her. That isn't true, only an astrologist can write horoscopes. Me, it's not like every publication has an astrologist on their payroll. Her, it probably comes from a group of astrologists. It's science and it's illegal to lie about science. They would revoke that astrologist's license. Me, his what? No second date. NASA makes up everything about space in order to convince us the Earth is round, so the world governments can keep the hidden civilizations at the edge of the world a secret. Not even kidding with that, my friend 100% believes that sorry I should clarify, he actually think the Earth is flat and infinite, so the edge is where the government apparently has prevented people from getting past. So he doesn't believe there's a literal edge of the world, which emo is much more interesting than other flat Earth theories. There was a kid at my school who said his mom didn't let him watch SpongeBob because she didn't want the gay spirits in the house. A few years later he told everyone he was a furry, so IDK what changed over that time. Overheard some lady saying her daughter isn't allowed to watch YouTube anymore because that's how people track you. She got this information from Facebook. To make things a little clearer, the lady believed that a stranger would track down her daughter through YouTube and kidnap her. The daughter just watched things, no posting videos or commenting on stuff. I sat next to a girl in bio who got 40% on our first test. She seemed quite pleased and said that now she only needed to get 40% again to have an average of 80%. 10 or so years ago when I was arguing over the pronunciation of a word with my brother, he told me, the dictionary is wrong. An ex tried telling me that his therapist assured him that it was my sole responsibility to remain in a relationship with him to keep his sanity in check. I obviously disagreed. I am not your personal prescription. Me, it's unfortunate that it's cloudy tonight, so we can't see the stars. Friend, oh, so that's why you don't see the stars sometimes. Apparently she thought only some nights were starry because of the Earth's rotation or something. I have a friend who says the dumbest things. She wanted a dress that was a shallow blue, the opposite of a deep blue. She thought that all lions were male and all tigers were female. She was counting and she said 47, 48, 49, 4010. 4010. She thought that Alaska and Hawaii were the same place and those were just two different names for them. I have a lot more of these. She also thought there was a Virginia, West Virginia, and East Virginia. 2. She thought that countries don't have capitals. I worked at a museum and had to let a girl go because she was going around telling everyone that dinosaurs weren't real because no animals can breathe fire. She was a law student. After my wife passed away, like a week after, my father told me I should go to the Philippines and just hang my passport around my neck and take my pic. Wasn't something told to me, but that I have heard. Happened at a former workplace. Coworker, to my boss, can I have Monday off? It's my anniversary, boss, you got married on a Monday. My slightly insane boss said that she can't drinking water without a drop of orange juice because it breaks the water down. It had to be orange juice as well, not orange squash. A girl once told me she was a vegan. But due to her medical condition she was required to eat meat, which she did, but still considered herself a vegan. She didn't tell me but her daughter. A little girl asked her mother why the polar bears wouldn't go in the water. We were at the zoo and it was a sunny day, about 50 degrees outside. The mother responded, "Because it too cold for them, honey." Me, a deli clerk, "Would you like a slice of cheese, sir?" Said sir, "No thanks, I'm driving." What? Pumpkins aren't natural, because they last too long. I then explained the concept of skin and how long jack-o'-lanterns last compared to an unbroken pumpkin, and you should have seen the look on her face. Someone in high school once asked me, is the planet named after the dog or the dog named after the planet? In university, someone asked me, do you have cars in Colorado? She thought that we were still using a horse and buggy system in the early 2000s. Seems like a silly question, but nowadays celestial bodies do get names after popular entertainment, with Star Trek, Game of Thrones, Muddle Earth, and more big stories all being used by fans who discover things as the source for names. Pluto just happened to be discovered early enough that there wasn't a lot of currently recognizable popular culture to draw from. Both Pluto the dog and Pluto the planet showed up on the public stage in 1930. The planet was named on the suggestion of a young girl named Venetia Burney, after Pluto the god of the underworld in Roman mythos, kind of a theme for planets. The dog, however, was initially named Rover, I think, and had his name changed to Pluto in 1931. So it's actually entirely possible that Pluto the dog was named after the planet, but it's impossible to say for sure. It's okay to insert a copper penny as a temporary substitute for a screw-in fuse in the fuse box until you can buy some replacement fuses. A woman told me she won't let her daughter read Harry Potter books because it promotes witchcraft. Someone tried to convince me that soap worked by shrinking the dirt particles on your hands so they wouldn't get caught in the folds of your skin. Astronomer here. Apparently there are a depressing number of people who think planets aren't real. I know this because more than a few people have asked me for advice on how to prove planets are real because their friend keeps insisting they don't exist. Apparently it's a depressingly common belief in some religious communities in the American South. I am always a bit flabbergasted because you can literally see planets in the sky and how they move, and point a telescope at one and see them in more detail.